The complete works of Swami Vivekananda, The Future of India, address by Swami Vivekananda, Part 8. Of course, this is a very big scheme, a very big plan. I do not know whether it will ever work out, but we must begin the work. But how? Take Madras for instance. We must have a temple for which Hindu religion must come first. Then you may say all sects will quarrel for about it. But we will make it a non-sectarian temple, having only Om as a symbol, the greatest symbol of any sect. If there is any sect here which believes that Om ought not to be taught as a symbol, it has no right to call itself Hindu. All will have the right to interpret Hinduism, each one according to his own sect ideas, but we must have one common temple. You can have your own images and symbols in other places, but do not quarrel here with those who differ from you. Here should be taught the common grounds of our different sects, and at the same time the different sects should have perfect liberty to come and teach their doctrines with only one restriction. That is, not to quarrel with other sects. Say what you have to say, the world wants it, but the world has no time to hear what you think about other people. You can keep that to your own selves. Secondly, in connection with the temple, there should be an institution to train teachers who must go about preaching religion and giving secular education to our people. They must carry both. As we have already been carrying religion from door to door, let us, along with it, carry secular education also. That can easily be done. Then the work will extend through these bands of teachers and preachers, and gradually we will have similar temples in other places until we have covered the whole of India. That is my plan. It may appear gigantic, but it is much needed. You may ask, where is the money? Money is not needed. Money is nothing. For the last 12 years of my life, I did not know where the next meal would come from. But money and everything else I want must come because they are my slaves, and I not theirs. Money and everything else must come. Must. That is the word. Where are the men? That is the question. Young men of Madras, my hope is in you. Will you respond to the call of your nation? Each one of you has a glorious future if you dare to believe me. Have a tremendous faith in yourselves, like the faith I had when I was a child, and which I am working out now. Have that faith, each one of you, in yourself, that eternal power is lodged in every soul, and you will revive the whole of India. We will then go to every country under the sun, and our ideas will before long be a component of many forces that are working to make up every nation in the world. We must enter into the life of every race in India and abroad, and shall have to work to bring this about. Now for that I want young men. It is the young, the strong and healthy of sharp intellect that will reach the Lord, say the Vedas. This is the time to decide your future while you possess the energy of youth, not when you are worn out and jaded, but in the freshness and vigor of youth. Work. This is the time for the freshest, the untouched, and the unsmelled flowers alone are to be laid at the feet of the Lord. And such He receives. Rouse yourselves therefore, or life is short. There are greater works to be done than aspiring to become lawyers and picking quarrels and such things. A far greater work in this is the sacrifice of yourselves for the benefit of your race and for the welfare of humanity. What is in this life? You are Hindus, and there is the instinctive belief in you that life is eternal. Sometimes I have young men come and talk to me about atheism. I do not believe a Hindu can become an atheist. He may read European books and persuade himself that he is a materialist, but it is only for a little time. It is not in your blood. You cannot believe what is not in your constitution. It would be a hopeless task for you. Do not attempt that sort of a thing. I once attempted it when I was a boy, but it could not be. Life is short, but the soul is immortal and eternal. And one thing is certain: death. Let us take up the great ideal and give up our whole life to it. Let this be our determination, and may He, the Lord, who comes again and again for the salvation of His own people, to quote from our scriptures, may the great Krishna bless us and lead us all to the fulfillment of our aims.